There were so many things that could have stopped me, but I did not let it stop me, honey. I wasn't going. Like, I knew God wanted me to be here. So I was like, I don't know what you're going to do, God, but you got to do something. Hey girl, welcome back to another video. My name is Angel. If you're new, this channel is for everyone looking to elevate in life. So we discuss everything from lifestyle to faith to career and everything in between. So if you're into that, then keep watching, sis. So guys, can you believe it? I've been in Dallas for an entire year now. Is that not crazy? Like, it does not feel like I've been here for a year. But time flies when you're having fun. That's what they say. But yes, I moved to Dallas last year in May. And so we're now in June of 2025. So we're actually over a year. But I've been enjoying my time here. I love the city. I love trying new restaurants, trying out new activities, hanging out with my friends. And sometimes I'm still in awe that I even live here. Like, I drive through the city and like, wow, I live in Dallas. And so even that same thing, like with my apartment, I look around and like, wow, this is my apartment. Like, I'm just still in awe, still in shock because God really blessed me with this apartment. This was my number one apartment on my list, and it had everything that I wanted and even more. And so God is a faithful God. And I just want to share my testimony on how I got into this apartment, the steps I had to go through, the setbacks I had to go through. And maybe it'll help someone out there who is looking for a new apartment or looking for a new car, maybe trying to get a new job. Maybe it'll help you to see how God showed up for me and know that He can do the same for you. So as a backstory, I'm originally from Arkansas. So I lived in Arkansas all my life up until last year. And I did a lot of travel contracts from 2020 up until 2024. And so back in 2023, I did a travel contract here in Dallas. And I loved it. I decided at that time, like, I want to live here. I want to move here. But it wasn't the right time to move back in 2023. So I went back to Arkansas after my travel contract ended. I started working another job there. And I just decided I was going to stack my money and save up and then move at a later date. So near the end of 2023, I said, I'm going to stop playing. Like, I'm getting to Dallas by next year. I'm tired of playing. Like I said, I wanted to move. Like, what we waiting on? So at the end of 2023, I decided to quit my job in Arkansas, and I decided to do a travel contract in St. Louis. Now, you may be wondering, like, how do you get to St. Louis? I don't know. This is what God wanted because I was applying to contracts everywhere. So the travel contract was really just to help me to stack my coins before I moved to Dallas and make sure that I'm comfortable when I do move here. So I got accepted to a travel contract in St. Louis in January of 2024. So from February to April, I was in St. Louis doing a travel contract, just stacking my coins. So when I came back from St. Louis in April, it was time to really start looking at apartments because first of all, my lease in Arkansas was going to end in May. Okay, this is April, guys. I had just got back from my travel contracts, having to look at apartments. So I was going back and forth from Arkansas to Dallas, looking at apartments, applying to jobs, interviewing to jobs, because mind you, travel contracts only last for a few months. So after that travel contract ended, I had no other source of income. So I didn't have a job. I didn't have an apartment lined up. It was all up in the air, y'all. To be honest, it was a little chaotic, but I knew that God was moving. So I was trying not to be anxious or fearful. And y'all, it doesn't help when you have family and friends asking, like, what are you doing? When are you moving? Do you have a job lined up? Y'all, it's not in my hands. It's in God's hands. I don't know. Like, my answers back then were, I don't know, because I didn't. Like, God didn't give me any confirmations. Like, the whole month of April, I was looking for a job, looking for an apartment, trying to move and pack up my apartment in Arkansas, like, without no definite answers of where I was going to move, what job I was going to have. Like, everything was just up in the air. And so that just goes to say, when God is showing you something or He's giving you a vision for something, it may not make sense to everyone. It probably didn't make sense to my family that I didn't have a job lined up, but I was still going to look for apartments. it didn't make sense that I didn't have an income lined up, but I was still looking for apartments. Like, it doesn't make sense in the natural, but in the spiritual, God is working. So when I started looking for apartments, I decided to get an apartment locator since I wasn't really familiar with Dallas and I really didn't know where to look. I just kind of knew what I wanted and I knew I wanted to be close to the city, but I didn't know the different neighborhoods. I didn't know the new apartments that had the amenities. Like, I didn't want to have to look up all of that. I was already stressed out trying to find a job in an apartment and pack up. So I didn't want to have to deal with looking for apartments. So I got an apartment locator, and shout out to Andrew at Smart City. He did his big one. Like, he really helped me out. He went to tour apartments for me. He set up apartment tours in person. And so he was really a big help at that time. So eventually we narrowed down the list to 4 apartments here in Dallas. And just so you can have an idea of what I was looking for. So I'm the type of person that dreams big. Like, I don't put God in a box. And so when I was looking for apartments, I had a list of needs, and I'm like, if it doesn't have this, then it's not for me. Now, if it was like a non-negotiable, then yes, I'm sticking to it. But some stuff was negotiable, so I wasn't just, being unrealistic. But if it was something that I really wanted, then I wasn't budging on it. So I still have the list in my notes app on my phone on what I wanted in the apartment. So I'm just going to read off those key things that I wanted. So I knew I wanted a 2-bedroom. The reason for that is I knew that I would have family and friends coming from Arkansas. So I wanted to make sure they had their own space. So I wanted an extra bathroom and an extra bedroom for them. And of course, I wanted my own space as well. So when I have guests over, I still have my privacy. So I wanted a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I wanted it to be close to downtown. So I'm the type of person, in my eyes, I didn't move to Dallas to live in the suburbs. Like, I lived in the suburbs in Arkansas. Like, I moved to Dallas to be close to the city, to be close to, the restaurants, the nightlife, everything. And so I wanted to be close to the city, and I wanted a city view. So I preferred a city view from my apartment, but that was something I was willing to negotiate on just because I know that can get really expensive in Dallas, and I had a budget I wanted to stick to as well. But so yes, 2-bedroom, close to downtown, city view. I needed EV charging, so I have a Tesla, so I needed to be able to charge my car. I was not going to be going to the supercharger every day. Like, that's dead. So I needed EV charging. I also wanted updated amenities and finishes in my apartment. So I really didn't like the whole silver chrome finishes in the apartments. I feel like they was really dated. So I was looking for something that was a little bit more updated. And then also I wanted lots of windows. So that was my list when I was looking for apartments. So I urge you to not compromise when it comes to the things that you are asking God to do, because our God is a big God. He created this world. He created this universe. So you don't think he can give you the things that you want? Like, I do, and I'm going to ask for it. So I shared the list with my apartment locator. He found some apartments that fit that criteria, and we narrowed it down to 4 apartments. So I decided to pick a date where I was going to travel to Dallas to tour apartments on that day. So I'm looking at my phone because I want to make sure I have the dates correct. So this was May 6th when I came to Dallas and I toured those 4 apartments. As we were touring the apartments, a lot of them did have some things that I liked, but there were a few things that I didn't like about some of the apartments. And so I was like, let's, just see another one just to make sure. So then we toured this apartment that I'm currently in, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it has everything. It had everything that I needed. It was like my number one pick. So it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, close to downtown. I'm literally in walking distance of downtown. I think it's like a mile and a half or 2 miles from my apartment to downtown. City view. So that was one thing that I was willing to compromise on just because I wanted to save costs. So I didn't get the city view from my apartment, but because of the amenities this apartment offers, there's a rooftop deck to where it has a view of downtown Dallas. And so I was like, okay, God, I see you. I still got the city view, so I'm okay with that. I can go up to the rooftop at any time, look at the skyline, and be good. I also had EV charging, and the good thing about this apartment complex is the EV charging is free, and also I had an assigned parking spot. So a lot of times, if you live in different apartment complexes, they will charge you to charge your car. Then also, you may not have an assigned parking spot, or you may have to pay extra. So my parking spot was included. It was no extra cost, and also I had free charging. So that was also a plus. I have updated finishes in my apartment as well. So my finishes are like a matte black color, and I really love that. It's very modern, very updated. And my amenities are great. So I have stainless steel appliances. I have a stackable washer and dryer. And last but not least, this apartment has a lot of windows. I really love the natural sunlight. My last apartment literally had 2 windows in the living room, and that was it. So now the apartment I have in it, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, and that's not including the balcony doors. So basically, 6 windows in the living room and kitchen. So like God was really showing out. So this apartment had everything I wanted and more. And so it really shows that God really listens to us. If we say we want something and it's in his will, he's going to make it happen. And that's not even the end of the story, y'all. There's more to it. So, like I said, May 6th, I toured this apartment. May 7th, I placed my applications because I said, I'm not wasting any time. Look, I'm trying to get here. So I applied on May 7th. Of course, they responded with, how much I would have to pay, the details about the lease, etc. And so when I looked at the deposit, y'all, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all didn't say all this when I was touring the apartment. But the deposit was a little bit too much for your girl. I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I was not expecting to pay that much for the deposit, and I was really trying to be on a budget because, like I was saying, I didn't have a job lined up. I hadn't been working for about a month because I ended my previous travel contract. So I didn't really know where my next income was going to be. So I was trying to be really frugal with the money and how I was spending. And so I saw that deposit and I was like, that's not going to work for me. But if you know me, I'm the type of person that I'm very determined and I don't take no for an answer. So I called him up like, is there any way we can lower this deposit? I would really love this apartment. It's my dream apartment. I would love to move in, but I would love if the deposit was a little bit lower. So 2 days later, this is May 9th. Guess what, y'all? They cut that deposit in half. In half. Like, do you see how good God is? That just goes to show how good God is. Like, if he gave you a vision, if he told you to do something, he's going to make sure that it manifests in the physical. So we just have to stay strong. We have to make sure that we keep the faith because the enemy is going to throw obstacles in our path. He doesn't want us to get to what God has for us. And so as I look back, there were so many obstacles to me getting here. Like, even before I went to St. Louis, my old car, it just died. Like, it just died. The battery died. And I had to survive on rental cars when I was in St. Louis before I got my Tesla. And so that was an obstacle in itself. And then when I got back from St. Louis, just the obstacle of finding a new job and finding this apartment and dealing with the deposit. Like, there were so many things that could have stopped me, but I did not let it stop me, honey. I wasn't going. Like, I knew God wanted me to be here. So I was like, I don't know what you're going to do, God, but you got to do something. And so that's the mindset you have to have. Like, you have to keep going. So back to the story. By May 11th, I was moving into the apartment that I'm currently in. And so it just goes to show how quickly God can move. From May 4th to May 11th, he was making so many things happen.